Hey guys, girls, and welcome back to another What If here. Today we were doing part 13 to What If Naruto was born with a kitsune genkai. If you if you somewhat want to know what happened in the last part, or you are new, which if you're, then I highly suggest that you go into the description now and down below, press the first link, which will take you to a playlist where you can watch all the previous parts in order, or you can proceed to watch this entire part and then, at the end of the what if, click on the end screen, on the cards on the end screen, which will take you to the exact same playlist. And yeah, also guys, for those who are somewhat wondering why there was no posts and that, I stated that I'd be back the 10th, which I then didn't due to my voice being somewhat painful, was because, well, that day was only somewhat one, so I took an extra day off due to my voice still being painful. And then the day I was going to record, my tonsils or my throat, one of the two, decided to be painful. And because I tend to get tonsillitis and that, which generally results in me generally getting a pain in the throat. So I obviously didn't want to potentially do an hour plus what if talking for an hour straight, which could cause pain and would cause pain and could potentially give me tonsillitis, which anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm recording today, as yesterday I kind of just straight up forgot to record, so yay. So yeah, anyway, though guys, so yeah, a couple months, I'm around somewhat 2 weeks to a month would go by, as during that month it actually had somewhat recovered, though Sasuke had also joined them in the hospital due to the fact that it actually had of course, somewhat being nearly blind, had told Tsunade A how to fix his blindness and B how to grant both of them the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, or EMS. And yeah, so she did it to obviously swapped their eyes around, granted both of them the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And yeah, also another thing was that, of course, Itachi somewhat had, or at least the ring for the Akatsuki he had given to Kitsune, and Kitsune had taken his one off, so they wouldn't be, tracked down by the Akatsuki to get the rings back. Sure, they may be, valuable like that, but yeah, they had also had told Tsunade of why the Akatsuki were after the tailed beasts and that. And that they of course did obviously managed to get the, I don't really remember how the somewhat one tails fight went. I don't think they got Shikaku. I don't really remember. But yeah, they would indeed have these two tails, though, as they could go in some slight unordinary form, though they would, of course, to ease her, they would both confirm that the Akatsuki would need all 8, which would kind of go, what do you mean 8? Don't you worry about just no, they need all 8, the other 8, before they could seal the 9 tails away, as it would break the ghetto statue that they were sealing it in to revitalize the 10 tails, which would obviously somewhat shock Tsunade at hearing that there was a tailed beast stronger than the 9-tailed fox, and yeah. Anyway, though, she'd obviously somewhat tell Kakashi, well, yeah, she'd tell Kakashi Yamato and Tenzo, the same person, and Jiraiya as well, though I believe Jiraiya had left to find the Akatsuki main base, so I believe he'll be potentially dying soon. Anyway, so yeah, though she did eventually end up telling Naruto, which of course sent the fox into a shock, and because obviously now he knew why that was humans, going after his Jinchuriki, his jailer, and it put him into a position of kind of annoyance, because while he didn't want to vanish, he didn't want to, become, a part of the, 10 Tails, and yeah, so that kind of started him down the path of kind of somewhat, kind of opening up and begrudgingly somewhat kind of maybe making a deal with Naruto. So yeah. Anyway, though, if they haven't read it again, I don't really remember. So anyway, guys. Yep. Though at the moment Tsunade would be talking to Naruto. Somewhat a relatively slightly normal thing when Naruto is either bored or somewhat wanting a mission, as Team 7 was fully back together now. Though what they were talking about wasn't something about maybe like rather how each one was doing, or something like that. No, what they were talking about was the potential of making another Jinchuriki. This being the 3 Tails Jinchuriki, possibly, as the 3 Tails has finally been reformed, and of course the somewhat missed village, of course, May had sent a a message to Konoha to go, hey, if you want the 3 Tails, it's reformed, you can have it, we don't want it. So yeah, and she of course replied back going, sure, we'll be right on that. And yeah, of course she'd initially wanted to seal it kind of away in a scroll, but Ray Arnbird pointed out that Naruto would probably be the best bet, and that they may be able to make a Jinchuriki. Anyway, though, of course, a conversation later of Tsunade pointing out that there would be a minimum sort of age, which would obviously mean a 3-year-old kid would have to go on the mission. Though Naruto had destroyed that notion, stating that a 3-year-old kid would only be necessary if the use of the Reaper Death Seal or any other 2-dimensional seal. She'd asked what a 2-dimensional seal was, and Naruto had said, oh, the normal seals. So, the somewhat normal storage seal, the seals somewhat you normally use. The 3-dimensional seals, or seals that that obviously have depth to them as well, somewhat are somewhat the age requirement for those are, to my knowledge, not at the moment, as as someone explained that though he did initially state to someone like the Ambu, had also stated to just have him sit right inside of himself, become the Jinchuriki of both the 9 and 3, but Tsunade put it down, saying that if the seal were to fail or something bad were to happen, he would if the seal were to fail, catastrophically blow up, he would die, and Kekkai would then lose the 3 tails, the 9 tails, and their greatest healer, their greatest Funjutsu sort of user, and should lose a person she saw like a son, and that kind of momentarily shocked. It would momentarily shock him that Tsunade saw him like a son and that, and saw they were cousins and that, and that's what he thought she'd say, but no. So it begrudged, and so they were now talk about the though Tsunade was somewhat hesitant to have it put on a female due to Seal's weakening at the time of birth, but Naruto had stated that the only reason that happened for his mother's one was due to the fact that it was his and his mother's was practically identical, with the only thing being different was that hers Kushina's was a closed and his is open. His 8 trigrams one is open, whereas Kushina's one was closed. So Naruto had asked what the difference between open and closed was, and Naruto said, well, closed meant the chakra to hold back the fox was purely, my mum's, and thus it didn't, she didn't get no power from the fox at all, no benefit from being the 9-tailed Shinchoki. Well, somewhat I kind of do. I get faster healing, somewhat some poison, resistance, faster healing, and I could pull on its chakra. And that, and if I were to obviously be, that, and also I can obviously drain my chakra to, not being able to use any jutsu, and the seal would still be perfectly fine because it would be using the fox's own chakra to hold back itself, and it would be mixing with mine / kind of converting into my own chakra, so I also gain a faster chakra regeneration as well. I regain chakra a lot faster as well, and and Naruto would state that his latest seal that he had made, and that was currently successful, and that he was eventually planning on swapping out his somewhat seal, which Naruto had asked, kind of freaked about that, he was going to literally just casually brought up that he was, going to erase his seal and, put another one on him, and though Naruto told her that it was a relatively easy thing as long as he did it in such a way. So Naruto asked what that way was, and Naruto stated, well, I'd have the seal already on me, and that I'd then release the 8 trigram seal, which would then cause the fox's chakra to then start bubbling out because it would have nothing holding it back. And then once I were to get, say, to the 1-tailed state, I would then quickly do some of the hand signs and would activate that seal, which would then seal away the fox's chakra again. Thus, Tsunade would ask why change it, and that would state that the 8 trigram seal was weakening, and that before long he may, unless he can make a deal with the fox, he may have to and that he's already, and those Tsunade asked that that Yeah, so I didn't notice any, greater, amount of Ninetales chakra in his own somewhat chakra network, and Tenzo slash Yamato had commented the same. And yeah, though Naruto would point out that, would show her that it was because he had already had somewhat had a second cell above the 8 trigram cell, which was regulating, was pretty much, slowing down, slowing down the 8 trigrams degradation. Yeah, now to state that he probably only had maybe up until he was 20, 21 before the cell shatters both. And yeah, though he did know, of course, though Tsunade then asked why he didn't do it yet, and Naruto stated that it was still fine at the moment and thus no need to do it. Though she then asked and how comes that was on, and he'd state, that would give me up until I was 25, 30. So an extra 5 to 10 years, yeah. Though the real reason was because there was 2 chakra signatures in the cell, and yeah, he, of course, didn't want to mess with those. Yeah, because, he already made a secondary cell on him that would convert his chakra to their chakra signatures. Their chakra signatures, he hoped, was his mother and father. Too, I believe he knows. I know he knows of his mother, Kitsune Uzumaki. Can't quite remember if he knows who his dad is yet. Don't quite don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, they would. Though, of course, that was all somewhat initially. Early though. Yeah, though they were kind of somewhat talking, or at least Naruto was mainly talking, explaining to Tsunade or at least somewhat his kind of sales, overall benefits and why somewhat, it wouldn't weaken during childbirth, and that, stating that it would practically act like the open 8 trigram, so that it would just feed itself. It would, somewhat. Yeah, though it's pointed like, while his cell was weakening, which Naruto would not, and would state that as it weakened, but it would state that even if it weakened to 100%, it didn't mean it broke. And though Tsunade state you said shattered, and Naruto would say, would go around. Yeah, because I'm not sure when it's completely gone, when it completely weakens, doesn't mean the cell just shatters, or does it stay there and it's just fully open, which if so, then I can picklock it shut. And she'd go picklock? What do you mean? As Naruto say it pretty much Dry has the key to the Somato's cell, and that he can picklock the cell shut. Yeah. And that he has picklocked it many of times to somewhat open it slightly more, shut it slightly, and that the outer ring, if you were to lose control of the Ninetales chakra, it would it would picklock it shut. So yeah, Richard go that, and I would quite like to remain at my current chakra control, as if I had it fully open, well, I would get a lot more chakra, and my chakra control would suffer as a result. And yeah, though finally, though some girls would arrive, granted, those they had thought about potentially, maybe someone like either Sasuke or Itachi, but they decided against that. Or potentially even maybe Kiba or, one of the others, but no. So the girls, or at least out of the girls, Sakura's there mainly due to her, her chakra reserves may be somewhat on the lower side, but her control was phenomenal. Was high up there, which meant that while she would most definitely lose the ability to probably do medical ninjutsu within the next month if she is chosen to be it. And so they would tell Hinata would be there, 10-10, and though there would be a single boy there, that being Rock Lee, as even though Lee didn't have no really chakra network system, the having a tailed beast would be able to, in a way, kind of potentially, and if it couldn't, then that could always just potentially make a chakra network using Finjutsu. So yeah. Anyway, though as Shinado explained to them why they were somewhat cold, and though Rock Lee would state whilst he was honoured to be one of the few to be, or at least to somewhat be offered it, he'd started stating that once it would be nice to be able to use chakra in that. He'd state that he'd made it a goal, to be strong, to be a shinobi with only strength and not chakra, so he would leave, which Tsunade told him that if they didn't want, if they didn't want to leave, and should look at the others. Would Hinata would end up being somewhat too shy, and would also kind of, even though she somewhat, of course, thought about it, and the potential to get a team close to Naruto to understand what it was like to be a Jinchuriki was there, to potentially be hated even more than what she thought she was, she would duck out, leaving and Sakura, though would state that she was somewhat, though she'd state that while she would rather not become a Jinchuriki, though she'd state the part well, she somewhat wouldn't, she would if nobody else would, though Sakura would walk up and would say that she would be more than happy to be a Jinchuriki, though Naruto would somewhat explain to her that she would, or at least after Sealing would be out for a month. With two of those being probably medical, three of those being medical induced to make sure the cell functions and her body and network stabilize. And yeah, and then a week after that, and then it'd still be another potential month after that with her not being allowed to use chakra at all, potentially. Though she would just nod and she would just, and yeah, though Tsunade would also obviously somewhat, remind her that her chakra control will suffer due to it would obviously gain a lot more chakra though Naruto states not initially as though he would confirm that she would find her chakra probably increasing by 15-20% at time of waking up after a month, but that would be due to the kind of forceful kind of impact of the tail beast, though it would state that it would be painful as parts of the network could be somewhat damaged and obviously would be somewhat slowly healing the damage, so no chakra usage for pretty much 2 months. And yeah, Sakura just nod and she would state that she would still become a Jinchuriki. And yeah, they would just somewhat nod. And yeah, and so they would then head on out. Well, yeah, from there, a day or so later, and everyone that would be chosen for fetch the 3 tails would go. Everyone, in canon would. And yeah, though that would be, of course, mainly to kind of protect Naruto. And yeah, one thing Naruto would, one thing would be they would pretty much also kind of bring along in a somewhat sealed way a pretty much pretty much somewhat, or at least kind of actual kind of somewhat deep sinking somewhat anchors which were pretty much which would hold Sakura down from the ceiling due to the obviously pain of having a tailed beast pretty much being thrown inside of you. Should probably more than likely require to be anchored into the ground. And yeah, that, and they also Naruto had also applied somewhat the tailed beast chakra absorbing seals, so they absorbed the tailed beast's chakra. So pretty much if the seal didn't seal and it was starting to rapidly leak from Sakura, it would be sealed into the 5 seals, 1 around her neck, 1 around each arm, and 1 around each leg. And yeah, the torso did there wasn't really anyway. And and so from there, though of course though Naruto did prepare and put the seal and set up the seal on Sakura, that was painful. And she had already had experience being pretty much pinned, practically, pretty much, not really forcefully, but having a seal, and especially as complex as Naruto's right itself on her, was incredibly painful, to the point where she was, at least attempted to, but due to the anchors being sunk into concrete and very deep down, she didn't make any well, yeah, she didn't really move except for kind of, well, at least tried to scream, but both Naruto and Tsunade and, yeah, both Naruto and Tsunade had the kind of foresight of putting a somewhat mouth gag, ball gag in her mouth to keep her relatively quiet. And yeah, though of course with the muffled pretty much kind of screams, Tsunade did eventually just somewhat temporary shut Sakura's voice box down, so that was only now rushes of air, and yeah, was still practically screaming in her head in pain, and eventually she'd passed out once it was done. And yeah, anyway, though there would of course get up, and of course Orochimaru would of course call Gearing, would tell Kabuto to get, well no, they'd be dead, so there wouldn't be also of course, well yeah, we get to, I can't remember the other person that could absorb nature energy, was also in Konoha. Naruto had sorted out the nature energy person's problem. Suigetsu didn't really have a problem because he could, on somewhat, on command, turn his body into water, so yeah, so he didn't have any real problem. And yeah, also of course Karin, which was an Uzumaki, so yeah. And yeah, also Karin would be on the team due to being an overall great sensor, and obviously having somewhat healing bite, so yeah, that also Suigetsu and the other person, they wouldn't be, due to the fact they'd be on a different mission though. Yeah. And well yeah, a different mission with a different team. So yeah. Anyway though, they would of course go out, and of course they would end up encountering the, even though they'd of course be the first ones there, they would end up with of course Itachi and Kitsune also being unless they would encounter the Akatsuki, and of course that meant that they also had to fight, and well yeah, so of course Kitsune, Itachi were doing someone at Goering, who was I think looking after a child, would also kind of be there, as the child somehow could communicate with the Three Towers or something like that. And yeah, so pretty much a fight would break out, though eventually with the Akatsuki retreating for the moment, and Goering and the kid leaving, potentially with both or one of them dying, I'm not really sure, don't quite remember. Team Sam would somewhat be kind of left there to finally do that thing. And yeah, they would though Naruto would keep it somewhat Naruto attaching Kitsune, and Kakashi would keep it somewhat momentarily entertained, whilst no, Kakashi wouldn't, because he would be hampering with Shizune to set up the kind of thing Sakura seen, that would somewhat know that it was becoming, that it was getting obviously close, and seeing the beast, and that would be sealed inside of her. She was somewhat scared, and yeah, of course she was already well, pretty much prepared. The only thing Naruto had to do was seal it inside of her and hope the seal actually held. Yeah, she was, of course, scared. Well, she wasn't scared, she was terrified. Yeah, the minutes would go by as Kakashi then shouted for Sakura to come over, and yeah, the others would just be there having a somewhat barrier up. Though Karin thanks to kind of hanging around with her cousin Naruto, and that had figured out the anti-matching chains, and had after a while they'd figured out how to make a dome, aka like Kushina could, but of course it would be a lot weaker than Kushina's somewhat dome, and yeah, though of course that was mainly to make sure nothing really happened, and yeah, though that was mainly over the current fight of the somewhat, so yeah, she was pretty much protecting the others from a potential, stray-tailed beast boy. Or yeah, granted, she wouldn't be able to hold up against one. She wouldn't have the chakra. To do so, but she would at least be able to give them potentially enough time to get their asses out of the way. And yeah, thankfully it wasn't using a beast ball for whatever reason. And yeah, anyway, though eventually Sasuke would state that everything was ready and that Sakura was prepared, and that would state was the pretty much ball gag in her mouth. So he would nod, and he'd even state that Shizune had already kind of temporarily shut down Sakura's vocal cord, so there'd be no yelling. Naruto would nod, and yeah, he would then somewhat prepare as from there, Sasuke would then do a couple of single hand sign telling Karin to drop the chain barrier, which she would. Kitsune and Itachi would immediately kind of somewhat go back to the others in some preparation to kind of, if it went sideways, though they would tell everyone to hold on to one another's shoulders, though one would ask why, and they'd state if it goes wrong, they're going to need a quick get out. And yeah, though obviously I think it'd be he would state that holding shoulders wouldn't help, and though Kitsune would just state, "Oh, trust me, boy, it would help a lot if you just shut up and do what you're told." Kyoto would growl, though Kakashi would tell him to just do what Kitsune said. As Kakashi, once so much Naruto would be there, and it's like in a somewhat giant flash of white light, Karin and Naruto and Sasuke would be there, dropping some drawers at the fact they just appeared in a flash. no, well, yeah, granted it was white and not yellow, but still. Yeah. And Naruto would immediately somewhat drop down and would, well, yeah, as he would somewhat be dropping down, Naruto would be flying through hand signs and somewhat channeling chakra, though finally as he would land on the water, yeah. Somewhat, well, yeah, Susan already had somewhat part of Sakura, somewhat revealed to, of course, allow Naruto to touch the seal to start the sealing of the tailed beast. Yeah, Naruto would somewhat, but yeah, kind of, well, yeah, would somewhat slam it, well, not exactly slam, but it would still kind of cause Sakura to kind of go wide-eyed, and yeah. Though if she could shoot either like a screen or a yell or something to indicate pain, but she couldn't just laughter. And yeah. Though Naruto would say sorry, but no time, as he'd then though he'd yell out. Somewhat sealing. Yeah. And it would grow and it would practically glow somewhat just blue, just shining blue as Sakura she'd be yell out, but the sheer look of pain, heck. Well, yeah, the change of that, and somewhat anger were sunken down fairly deep. Almost looked like they were about to be flung out, so yeah, and of course each person of the Rookie 9 would go from from the team that was there would go from holding shoulders to kind of holding Sakura, while yeah, somewhat down. Though Kitsune would state the no, not Kitsune, Kakashi would state the second they saw red chakra envelop her to let go, and that it would be down to purely Naruto. And yeah, and indeed red chakra within seconds would start forming around her stomach, and then it would somewhat creep, then it would almost, very quickly envelop her entire body, though thankfully everyone had let go at that time, with Naruto being the only one keeping her down, and of course doing the sealing, with the obviously Jane's doing her best, and though thankfully they had, of course, though Karen was also doing her best to keep her chains around the three towers to subdue its chakra, so the sealing went faster and easier, and it was, less dangerous. So yeah, if she had Kushner level, control over her chains and abilities and that, and Kushner could have easily, just practically would have used the chains themselves to transfer the tailed beast into the person, but a no-go at that. Yeah. Anyway, though, of course, time would go by, and it would thankfully be a success, with obviously Sakura sort of passing out, and Tsunade immediately putting Sakura into a somewhat medical induced coma, so her body could adjust and potentially heal. Should immediately send Sakura somewhat into, it would immediately do a scan, and yeah, should state that her network would be healing for quite some time, as should state that the damage was quite extensive to her somewhat body, well, her chakra network, but overall she was fine. And yeah, they would let out a sigh of relief, and yeah, though Karen would somewhat come over, though would be somewhat panting as suppressing, a tail beast was another level she never thought she'd end up doing in her entire life. And so they would get back to Konoha, and a month would go past with Sakura still being in a medical induced coma due to the sheer somewhat done with the ceiling, or at least inflicted on Sakura's network. It was decided that should be staying in a coma until her network was fully healed. And with that, guys, I am going to leave this part here. So if you guys have enjoyed this part, tell me in the comments down below. And guys, hope you have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are and whenever you watch this. And goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.